Hello, everyone. You are listening to the C Squared podcast hosted by Ghost Cult Magazine. Thank you, Keefe. We love you. And it's just me and Curtis today, me, Corey, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. We today are going to be talking about what C Squared is, what we do, what we work on. There seems to be, some confusion about who the hell we actually are.
Yep.
Beyond just two random people talking on the internet about stuff and things.
Yep.
So yeah, Curtis and I are going to be going into detail about who we are and what we do.
Yes. So to start, frequently asked question is we keep getting asked, what the heck is this? What the heck do we do? In the last week, 2 weeks or something like that, people keep mentioning my old podcast, Dumb and Dumbest, for one. If anybody's listening to this, that does not exist anymore. Has not existed since probably, I think it was January or February of this past year. It's over. It's done. There's no more. Corey and I have started this podcast in March?
Yeah, March.
Okay. So yeah, we started this in March. I think it was early March. And then we started basically working together.
If you call it work, it's more just us. No, I'm kidding. It is work.
We started working together about 2 or 3 weeks later as C Squared. So then after that, I'm going to kind of go quickly through things, and then we're going to kind of circle back here. Then after that, we got some clients, and basically it got Gaia and Holly and Aaliyah on board to help us with different things. We currently have a number of clients that we both work together, and also clients that Gaia and Holly are working. And it's not, how do I put this? It's only us. It is no one else is involved currently with the company. How do I want to put this, Corey?
I think that's perfectly fine. It's me, you, Gaia, Holly, and Aaliyah. There are no other names other than Corey, Curtis, Gaia, Holly, and Aaliyah.
Yeah, that's correct. I used to do podcasts with 2 other individuals, and there's no bad blood between us. I just want to say that right off the bat. Excuse me, but at the same time, our company is only the 5 of us, sorry.
5 of us.
5 of us. So basically how it works is Doer PR does still exist. Corey also has her own company she is setting up, but basically most of the work that's done is we do it together. Because I'm legally set up as Doer PR, I cannot, it's not easy for me to change the name to C Squared, so I'd rather not. So we're kind of calling it C Squared, but at the same time, it's under banner of Doer PR. I think that makes sense the way I described it there.
True, and the company that I'm setting up will probably be like a Doer PR partner or something like that is how we'll list it. I just have to do it for legal reasons. So, and we each have clients that we work on our own. I mean, you still have your Doer PR clients, and I'll have mine.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we work together on everything.
Yeah, and even the ones that we're doing solo, a lot of the times, both of us will
tackle something. Yeah. So because the great thing about our team is we each have a different skill set. Like you've got 1 billion years in PR. I have 1 billion years in marketing, ads management, and like web development. Gaia's got years in social media, and she knows how to set up a web shop like that. Holly's got her PR background and her musician background, same. And then Aaliyah's got her graphic design background and her musician background. So each of us is bringing something different to the table. So even if it's a project that we're technically working on our own, we'll pull from each other just because we have that kind of a relationship and we have those different skill sets.
Yeah. But again, the vast majority of stuff, we're trying to make it to be together.
Team effort
versus solo effort. And I think, and also part of the reason of that is because we can actually grow and we can actually help more people. And like Corey just said, have more skill sets involved. And so just to back it up a little bit, 2 people we've also forgot to mention that are assisting with us is Keith Morash, also interns. He helped. He is not officially a part of C Squared, but he does help quite a bit. He has his own company, Infecting Cells, but he does work closely with us with helping with pitching different things. So he is involved. I forgot to say that. And also as well, Lindsay Schoolcraft is also involved in a way. She's not officially a part of anything, but we do help her we go to her for guidance and for help.
Basically, whenever there's a problem, it's Mama Lindsay, come save us. I'm joking, but no, seriously, she's like she's very valuable. She's extremely knowledgeable, and we're fortunate to have her. So Lindsay, if you're listening, we love you.
And yeah, but again, these are the only people that we work with in regards to it. So just to kind of go back a little bit. So part of the reason why I kind of rejiggered things, for lack of a better term, is because, well, two reasons. Number one, Corey wants to be full-time. Mm-hmm. He wants to be full-time. Number two, I believe in Corey, and I think Corey has a lot of valuable I do. I think you have a lot of valuable skills, and she's one of the hardest working people that I've ever met. She works from like 7 o'clock in the morning till like 11 o'clock.
Earlier. Well, 7 o'clock your time. Yeah, 7 o'clock your time.
7 o'clock my time.
I'm on the West Coast, so it's actually more like 4 o'clock my time.
Yeah, so she gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She goes till 11 o'clock pretty much every night after I'm in bed. And she basically just kind of powers through anything that she needs to get done. Yes, like last month, she got over, might have had a little bit more than she could have handled because she had a 50-hour day job on top of that. But most of the time, she's usually pretty good at just powering through everything from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock per day. Sorry, 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock per day, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But even with the 50-hour a week day job that you had last month, you still managed to get everything done that you needed to get done. I can't think of a single thing that you didn't do.
No, I still get it done. It just takes me a little bit longer. It's not like a 2-hour turnaround time on most projects. It's like a day or something that I need to get through things.
Yeah. So basically, to answer the question, number one is why do I work with Corey? Because Corey gets shit done. So, okay.
I may not always know what I'm doing, but I will figure it out and I will get it done.
And she's never had a problem. Like, even when there's been times when she's been asked to do something last minute, not just from me, but from other people, she always gets it done. She almost never complains. I don't think actually never complained, I don't think. I think
the biggest complaint I have will be like, dude, I am tired today, but then I just move on and keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I decided to start doing this with her. Yes, I do realize she's only been in the industry for like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever the heck it is, four months.
It'll be 2 years next month since I started with metal injection. And then I've been a band manager for like 4 months.
Yeah. So in the actual administrative end of things, you're pretty new, but
yeah. But I mean, I do have at least I have 13 years of marketing experience. So
yeah. But in the first month that we started, we've gotten, I think it's been between the two of us, I think it's like 8 clients Corey's basically doing all the bio writing right now. Holly's doing a little bit now, but not much. And she's doing a lot of other stuff on top of that. So where am I going with this part right here? I'm tooting your horn.
Why you work with me? This is what you're doing.
Yeah. So the reason why I work with her is because
it's because I remind him what he's talking about.
That's right there. So she basically is able to get shit done, and she knows what she's doing. So now back to the experience factor. So like she said, she's got 13 years of marketing experience, but she's also got management experience, and she's got sales experience, and she's got experience in many other fields as well. So when we do a client call, for example, a consulting call, she has a good idea of what needs to get done. She's always got something to bring up, a pointer or two that I'll forget. And I've been doing this for 8 years, and she's only been doing this for 4 months, but she always points something out. She always has something that she can add to it. And she's always a big resource with it. Do you feel like your horn's tooted yet?
As per usual, you're like embarrassing me, but whatever.
Just some of the just to point out too, one more thing before we move on to the other people. Some of the clients that we've already helped so far have included Epic of Chirality, Archangel the Archangel AD, Ligature Marks, Akiaville. I'm calling co-client, even though they're kind of your baby.
My baby.
Akiaville. Who else have we had? Sarah Jezebel Diva. You've also helped with Lindsay, Rocky Gray rather, And then who else have we had? Is that it? No, there's been more.
No, we have a lot of clients.
Aaron Knox, Duncan
Aaron Knox, yeah.
Laura.
Duncan Evans, Laura, from the Inferno doll.
Carlos also had. Yeah, we've actually had quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So within the first month as well, she's also helped to get a bunch of people profitable. For example, Gaia sold out of 27 CDs in a 3-day period. And Inferno doll did about $1,000 worth of sales in about 2 weeks. She paid for all the consulting already, that like she made it back basically from her sales. Carlos also had a number of wins from doing his consulting with us. Who else is there? Hair Knox also sold a whole bunch of vinyl. I don't remember the amount.
He sold almost 30 vinyl.
Was it 30? I couldn't remember.
I think it was 28. It was close to, yeah, it was in the upper 20s.
But I think a key thing that we do different that a lot of people don't do, in addition to being all in one, is we do focus on getting people targets and focused on where they should be going. Because most PR companies and most management companies, they aren't really target set. They're just kind of like make the music, kind of put it out there, let the person kind of drift. They don't go like, okay, you need to sit here and you need to make $1,000 worth of sales, or you need to make $500 worth of sales, or whatever it is. Corey, can you talk about this for a second? You're just nodding.
I'm just letting you ramble, but yes, having a clear goal for people that they can see. It's a motivation factor. If you're just kind of like, yeah, I'd like to make some sales, that's cool. There's no real like gumption. There's nothing that you're striving for. So without that kind of a goal, I mean, you're not really going to have the same kind of a result. It's the same thing as like running a marathon. You want to see that finish line. You know, it's going to be a bit to get there. It's going to take work to get there, but you want to see it. So it's the same kind of a mental thing. It's a mental
mentality
trigger, I guess, is the best way to like describe it, to where you're pushing towards something rather than just kind of aimlessly. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to be famous.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, just before we continue on. So, I'm going to toot my own horn for one brief second, because I never toot my own horn. So since we started working together, I've been helping you with pushing the goals as well, because you also set your own goals. But I'm also pretty good with helping you stay focused. I think.
Yeah, honestly, you just like, hey, Corey, guess what? You're doing this thing. So.
So let me ask you this. So how do you feel like you have gone beyond or at the expected pace of where you thought you were going to be before we started working together?
Oh, way beyond. I have done more in the past like 3-4 months than I really ever thought I was going to. And yeah, it's all the whole, you're good at pushing people.
Well, that's my skill set.
Exactly.
So, okay. So let me ask you this. So where do you think you would have been, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, but let's say that we didn't start working together in February or March rather. What do you think would have been happening now if we hadn't been doing that and pushing for targets and working together?
I still would be, well, I mean, I still am plankton in the metal ocean, but maybe I'm krill now. I'm at least something that has legs, or like an actual creature.
Yeah. He's no longer a cell.
I mean, I probably would have been okay with like my results with a Kiavel and everything like that. It would have been what you expect from somebody who has no name. It would have been satisfactory for who I was and who I am. But you definitely like pushed me to where, I mean, we accomplished so much that I never actually thought was going to be a thing.
Fair. Again, just to toot my own horn. So Corey went from being just writing at Metal Injection and doing the social media to running a consulting / management / whatever the heck else we are.
An artist development firm. Let's call it that, an artist development firm, because we do the PR, we do the consulting, we do all sorts of, we have, graphic design, web development, we have it all.
So you went from doing that to doing all that, and also working with Lindsay, Sarah Jezebel Diva, and Rocky, 3 people grew up listening. I think Rocky was someone you grew up listening to. I could be mistaken.
I remember when the first Evanescence album came out, and I was in the 8th grade, and it was like 6 months after I discovered Hot Topic and dyed my hair black, Evanescence came out. So of course everybody was like, oh, you're just copying Amy Lee. And I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this for 6 months. Thank you very much. But I remember that album vividly, and I listened to it like crazy. So yeah, I grew up with all of them. Well, not so much Lindsay, because I mean she came later, but I do remember seeing her live because I was in the freaking audience. So.
And Corey had no idea 2 months ago she was going to be working with any of these people.
No.
Just want to point 3 months ago, rather. About 2 months ago you did, but 3 months ago, no. So, and also I want to point out.
Still don't even realize. I'm like, half the time I'm like, whoa, I'm working with these people.
Amazing, isn't it? And Sarah and Chris from Torn Between Two Worlds, I just want to point out as well, also said a lot of positive things about Corey and me both, and about how we did more for them than a record label had ever done for them. I just wanted to
grind. We don't. The thing about like record labels have a purpose. They have their value. Large, gigantic PR firms have a purpose and they have their value, but they rely on their name. They rely on their notoriety. And that's not always enough when it comes to small bands. It's not always enough that, Napalm Records is sending out the press release for some unknown band, because people are still going to be like, I mean, I know this is a Napalm band, but who?
Yep, exactly.
But we will go beat down people's doors saying, listen to this freaking band, because it's what we have to do.
Exactly. So, okay. So we got the accolades from Sarah. We got the accolades from Lindsay. We've also gotten accolades from Akiaville. So now just to back it up, just a slight tiny little bit here. So you were nervous at first doing this stuff because you felt like you weren't ready, right?
It was more that I'm a nobody. So like, why would any of these people want to work with me? I mean, I know logically that I'm capable of all this stuff because I've done it for years. I mean, I started in marketing when I was 19 and I'm 32 right now. So I've been doing this for a while.
Yep.
And I've taught myself a lot of stuff. So it's like, logically, I know I'm capable of this stuff, but at the same time, I also recognize who I am and my limitations, because so much of this job is networking and connections.
Yeah.
So it was more like with Akiaville. Why did they want me as their manager or their whatever the heck I am? Because I do more than what a manager would do. When I have no real clout and no real connections. And it's something that was said on one of our podcasts by one of the other managers that we interviewed, that there are two types. One that's established and has a massive network, and one that's hungry and will move heaven and earth to get their band's opportunities. And I fall into the second category because I don't have the same network that somebody like Blasco would have. I'm just Corey from Oregon, but I will do whatever I have to do to help my band succeed.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Okay, so let's just go back a little bit right here, so we got the two of us working these things, and then we set it up with Gaia and Holly. So again, can you kind of go over why we have Gaia and Holly and what their kind of relationship is to us?
So, I mean, you've known Gaia for quite a while, and honestly, they both have skill sets that we don't have. I mean, Gaia's a social media maven. She really understands social media, and I mean, so do I, but I'm more of a behind the scenes person. Gaia is a damn good spokesperson, number one. And number two, she's very smart. She learns extremely fast. And this is going to be tooting both of our horns. With the amount of inquiries we have been getting from people who want to work with us, we needed help.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And both of them are extremely intelligent. They're extremely capable. And they are also people who want to be full-time. That's like the whole purpose is to get the team full-time, working in metal, working in music, and to reach their goals. So they're two capable people who like, why not bring them on the team?
Yeah, and it's funny because we've only known Holly for like
A month.
few weeks. Yeah. We brought her on right off the bat. He was like, oh yeah, let's bring her on. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing too I want to point out. So it's not just one of us doing it, it's all of us, which is kind of like the difference between what Doer PR was doing before versus right now. So now how do I want to explain, because part of this is trying to like to explain to people how we're different than what it was before. So in most matters, Corey and I make the final decision on things in regards to campaigns, in regards to clients that we take on and stuff like that. But we do also discuss stuff with Holly and Gaia. For example, last week, we had someone that Corey and I just weren't going to have the time to work with. Just weren't going to, they wanted to work with us and it was like, can't do it. But we asked Gaia and Holly if they were interested in doing it. And they said yes right off the bat, which now means that that person can still get the service, even though we weren't quite able to do it ourselves. So I think, but at the same time, we can also provide direction and guidance to Gaia and Holly. So they'll be serviced, but does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Like, we're involved, like even if Gaia and Holly are working it on their own, we're helping, we're overseeing things, and I mean, we're helping them grow because each of them has questions. I mean, we'll all have questions for each other, but each of them has questions, and they're still learning and everything, but obviously giving them the opportunities to grow with the clients that are theirs but while still having the safety net of people who've been doing it longer.
Yeah. So. And top it off, the other thing I really like is it seems to me at least that all four of us all five of us, four of us, sorry.
All four that we've mentioned so far, because we still haven't gotten to Aaliyah yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to Aaliyah yet because Aaliyah handles a different thing.
Yeah,
but I think with all four of us, all of us are kind of like in this for the long term. It's not just a short term, piggyback off the other person, to make connections and, see you later type of thing, which is something that a lot of people will do, is that they'll just start working with someone just in order to get the connections or some such thing. And it's like, see ya, I'm off of my own.
And it doesn't sit really well with me, that kind of a relationship. It seems too manipulative.
I agree.
And because when you go into a relationship with what kind of connections can I get out of this and how soon can I peace out, that's not a relationship, that's a manipulation.
I agree 100%. And we also did, all four of us agree to that if any one of us didn't want to work together, it was like we can't take clients, period. So
and like, let's say that we want to go on our own, we can't work with any of the clients that we've worked with for something like 6 months, that we've worked with together for something like 6 months. So, and we all agreed to that. So it's not that we're just trying to build up our own roster so we can peace out later. We all genuinely like working together. And I think it makes us stronger. We're able to do a lot more for a lot more people.
I agree. And one thing, and the other thing too, is that I fully trust these three people. I don't know why I trust all three of you, but I fully trust all fucking three of you for some strange reason. So that's also a good thing too. What's the smirk?
No, I'm just thinking about, so when you gave me access to your contacts, I'm just thinking about that. It's like, why in God's name are you trusting me with this? So
prove yourself. It was easy.
But you just gave me like the keys to the kingdom. And then you did it with Holly and Gaia too. And it's just like, here, you guys go ham. And it's like, but I mean, if you can't trust the people you're working with, why work with them?
Well, that's the thing too, right? I mean, keep in mind too, that before you even got access to that, you also were trusted with the PayPal info for the challenge. And then prior
I was collecting all the money for the challenges.
Yeah, you were collecting all the money for the challenges. And then even prior to that, you were asked to do things and you did them like really quickly and you did them without any issue or anything like that.
Actually, and I think I told you no at first when you were like, here, I'm going to give you all this stuff. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Most people would have went, yes, I'm taking it. Same thing with Gaia. Well, I mean, Gaia I've known for like a year. And I mean, she's known Lindsay since like 2010. So I think if she was going to be a thief, she would have shown that she was a thief like 10 years ago. Holly, we're still getting to know, so who knows? Maybe she's going to turn into being like this villain that fucking.
No, she's.
I don't think so, though.
No. And honestly, Holly's kind of like the calm one.
Yeah.
She's almost like the voice of reason on the team. You got Curtis, who's like way up here, and then me, who's trying to still bring Curtis down, but I'm like up here too. Yeah. And then you got Gaia, who's really realistic, and then you got Holly, who's like super grounded. So I mean, the differences in our personalities are really complementary too.
But the one thing I like is that I'll say others that I'll be like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and all you guys will be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's
sure,
do it.
Why not?
Okay, so what else do we want to cover? We got to cover Aaliyah, and then I want to cover a teeny bit more about Gaia and Holly. And
oh my God, they now have a celebrity couple name, Golly.
So we're gonna talk about Aaliyah. Aaliyah hasn't been working too much with us yet because she's primarily focused on doing design type things. She's done 2 PDFs for us so far. For design work, and she also is supposed to be doing another thing for us in about a week and a half. I still got to write the PDF though. You don't know about this yet, but yeah, you want to talk about Aaliyah for a second?
I mean, the thing that really stood out about me with to me with Aaliyah was just how willing she is to help with no expectations at all. I mean, how many times did she say, "Hey, I did this thing for you," and just like, she was never asked. She just genuinely has a passion for the music. She wants to help bands succeed, and she wants to help people. So again, it was another situation of why the hell not bring her into the fold, because of how just genuinely giving and awesome she's been. So she definitely deserves some recognition for that. It shouldn't all just be her throwing stuff out there for people. She deserves everything that she gets, and like, she works extremely hard, and she's a very humble person, and she's just very genuinely pleasant. She's also super supportive of everybody. She's always one of the first people out there, like retweeting the clients and responding to the clients and ensuring that everybody feels super supported in everything that they're doing.
I agree with that, and I think that was a key thing though, was the fact that she did things without being asked. She, just for people who don't know, the very first contact I had with Aaliyah was in February. She randomly commented on a podcast that I had done on the Old Dumb and Dumbest with Lindsay. And I don't know how, but we started talking to each other, and then she ended up downloading a PDF that I wrote. And then she emailed me and she said, "Hey, I prettied this up for you. Would you like to use it?" And I said, "Sure." And then she did the same thing with another one, and then she just kept offering. So finally I was like, we should probably just ask her to work for us, because it's probably not really nice just to keep taking without giving her anything in return. So we kind of went, you know what, we're going to pay her to do PDFs whenever we need it, which I think, which is the right way to do it. Anything else on Aaliyah before we move on to Golly?
Golly, it's fantastic. No, well, honestly, everybody should be really supportive of Aaliyah and what she does. So go follow her. She works extremely hard. I mean, she's not as public facing as like Gaia and Holly, or Golly. But she's definitely super important to us.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And Gaia. So I want to go over Gaia, because we kind of went over Holly a little bit. So Gaia is kind of learning a little bit as she goes, for anybody who's wondering, but that's not really true. She last year crowdfunded $5,000 on her own prior to meeting me. I did not help her with any PR on that. I want to point out she had no publicist to work with like that. But she's crowdfunded $5,000 on her own for her solo album. And in addition to that, she also did a lot of work with the PR and stuff for Uriel, I believe, when they did their album campaign. So she actually has a lot of experience doing PR, but just kind of unofficially, if you know what I mean. So she also learns super fast. She already had the skill of MailChimp. Holix took her I think it was 10 minutes to learn. It was fast.
It was, I don't even think it was that.
Yeah,
it was just here's the thing, and she did it.
Yeah, and she's It's 3 different languages.
I was literally just going to say, homegirl speaks 3 languages. So
yeah. And she's perfect in all 3 of them. Well, at least in English, at least I think French, but who knows? And she's very willing. She does anything she's asked pretty much. I don't think she's said no to anything.
I asked her after she dyed her hair red to do a Little Mermaid themed TikTok, and she did it. So yeah, she did do the Little Mermaid thing.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. And so like she has an amazing sense of humor, as well as being very intelligent and extremely hardworking. She's just a genuinely pleasant person. Because you can be intelligent and you can work hard and still be kind of a douche, and she is not that.
And she'll stab you if you fuck with her on top of that.
She is, homegirl is fierce.
She's fierce.
Yeah. She will come at you like a spider monkey.
Okay, and then last thing, because we already kind of talked about Holly. So just to kind of clarify, to wrap things up, C Squared is me, Corey, Holly, Gaia, Aaliyah, Keith Morash is an intern, Lindsay Schoolcraft is an advisor unofficially or officially, however you want to put it. And basically, if you want to work with us, you have to apply. We don't just take everybody on. That's another thing too. Couple reasons why you may not be accepted is, number one is if your music is not up to the quality that we want. It could be just be that me and Corey don't like your music, or we're not into it, or don't feel it's right for us. Were you going to say something, Corey?
Nope. Okay. I'm sure you're going to go on to production, because that's going to be my biggest killer, is if the production is subpar. I mean, I can love you to death. I can even love your music, but it's like, if your production isn't there, it's not there.
Yeah. So we both have to agree on the client. If one of us doesn't agree, how it works is that we would also consult with Holly and Guy after that. And then none of us agreed.
Yep. Because we as a team.
Yeah, we're a team on it. So when you come to work with us, one of the key things is music quality. The other thing too is if we feel like we can get along with you. That's another thing right there. If your music is of high quality and we don't think we can get along with you, no attitudes.
And then the other thing is probably drive and the willingness to apply yourself. Because there's a lot of people, they've got good quality music, and they're good people, but the drive stops at the music creation, and that's not enough anymore. You can't just be like, okay, here's my songs, and have any kind of success. It will not end well.
And if we find that's happening after a while, there's a very good chance that we're probably not going to work with you again. And it wouldn't be anything personal. It would just be the fact that we don't want to be working. We want to have a certain quality level, is what it is. And we don't want to drop below that certain quality level.
And at the same time, like, just quality aside, like, if you don't have the drive, there's nothing we can do for you. And just taking your money doesn't sit right with us. Because I mean, we could take people's money all day long and just be like, yep, but no, we don't want to do that to anybody. So if we don't feel like you can keep your drive up, we're not going to take your money.
Yep, exactly. Which is kind of a big difference between us and a lot of other people out there. So anyway, what other you got any final thoughts, Corey?
No, I think we've covered a lot. I mean, I think it should be clear now who we are and what we do. And that we won't just go take people's money for the hell of it. We genuinely want to help people grow. And if people have the drive to grow, we will lift heaven and earth for you guys. We'll do whatever we can, and probably like develop an ulcer doing so to help you succeed, because we genuinely, like, we all care about the people that we work with. We're not getting into this business for the money is stupid, because there's not enough money to make it worth only the money. We're very passionate about the people that we work with. And I mean, like, you've seen me with a Kiavel, I will do whatever it is that I got to do because I genuinely care about them.
Yeah, you do too much. You do too much.
I do a lot. But it's like that with all of our clients. We're all going to be super dedicated to you because we give a shit about your success more than our wallets.
And we try not to play favorites at the same time. I also want to point that out. So
that's what I mean. Like we care that much about all of the people that we work with, which is why we don't work with everybody, because we don't feel like we can give you that level of service. We're not going to take your money.
Yep. We don't just fawn over Sarah or fawn over Lindsay and then just like kind of drop
Forget it. No, honestly, our tiniest people get the most attention.
Yep.
Because they need it. Yep. And because like if you send a press release about Lindsay, you know it's going to get picked up. But if you send a press release about somebody with only 20 fans on Spotify, it's going to take some work, but we'll grind through.
Agreed. Okay, so I think that's all we got for today. Any other final thoughts?
No, I think that's good.
Cool. Well, happy Mother's Day, Corey. Party on.
Why? I am a cat mom. That is it.
I know.
I just want to clarify that. I don't have kids. I have a cat.
She's got a cat. So party on, cat mom.
Party on. What a cat, kid, dad. You have both. You have cats and kids. You made this weird. Party on, Curtis.
All done.